Good evening, friends. I don't know why we're still doing this show. Apparently, some of you still care. I know there's one very happy person right now, and that just proves that good things happen to terrible people. Welcome to Week 17, the championship in the Massillon Fantasy League. Massillon. Sounded like I said Madison. I'm Ryan. He's Dan. Torturing me with his screen name. How are you, my friend?
I'm enjoying the fact that overconfident Ryan is always my favorite Ryan.
This wasn't even overconfident, Ryan. This was just, first of all, that was a hell of a game, and we'll talk about that. That's really all we're going to talk about to start the show. There were two terrible lineup decisions on my part. One terrible lineup decision on my part is the quarterback change. But Herbert had been so bad. I don't know. We'll get into that later.
You said there's only one happy person. That's one point. I think there's lots of happy people.
That's true. A lot of people did seem to be rooting for this championship. Just so everybody knows about this championship that's over already. This is Rob's third trip to the finals. He made it our very first year, which I didn't even know until Darren and I were talking earlier today. Made it in 2014 and now in 2025. So I think that's 7 years and 11 years. So his next championship visit will be 15 years. So 7 years, 15 years from now. So 2040 is the next time Rob will be in a championship.
He's like the Buffalo Bills.
I mean, they lost 4 in a row.
Okay, so maybe more like the Minnesota Vikings then.
There you go. Gets there and chokes away. It's his favorite team. This is Terry's first championship appearance. He's looking like a grizzled vet coming in, winning his first one, which is technically what I did as well. So, Terry, I hate to break it to you. You're never going to win another one because people are going to steal your wins from you, plain and simple. It's what happened to me. We all saw it happen. Dan, I do. What's that?
Terry stole it from you?
He did.
Or did you give it away?
Both. We'll get to that in a second. Dan, I do want to start the show by congratulating you. High score last week, taking home a lottery point. Not that it matters for you, but still all fun. JR's fucking you, but all fun for you to take home that lottery point with your first high score in the fantasy playoffs.
Here's the thing. Phil has my pick. I'm trying to get as many lottery points as I can for Phil. I think that's the respectful thing to do, not blow it off. And
yeah, a little wild how many people just stopped checking their lineups to end the season when all the injuries happened. So, Dan, basically for this show, I was just going to pop the two matchups up on the screen. Let me go ahead and bring those up now. And we can chat a little bit. We'll do Rob's first. So Stevie went into this one 11-3. Rob was 9-5. Drake May handled business. Really, that was the main thing. Wait, why does it say Rob didn't start a wide receiver? Did Rob sit somebody to make sure he didn't lose?
On Monday Night Football, he had a 3-point lead going into Monday Night Football, and he sat Jennings to make sure he didn't get a run play, fumble, and tear his ACL, and Rob loses.
Didn't even see that. Kudos to Rob to knock down a 3-point victory while benching a player. I was a little worried about my own games there. But the New England Patriots really took this one down for Rob, Dan.
Yeah, it was a fun matchup. I was excited to see Rob get that win. I would have been too nervous to bench that guy. The stat change could have come in and taken away something from an IDP, going from full sack to half a sack.
Yeah.
Just because the odds I think are far higher that that's going to happen than him to lose because a guy gets one run and fumbles it. That's all he gets for the whole game.
And the guy ended up going 14 points anyway. But again, it all worked out the way it was needed to work out. And then craziest game. So that game was decided by 2.8 points. And then there's Terry and I's game, which was decided by 0.52. We both just choked at quarterback. For those who weren't paying attention, on Saturday, I dropped Justin Herbert, fully intending to start Jacoby Brissett all week. Where I joked that Terry stole it from me, and I guess it's not Terry stealing it from me, but it was the 49ers stealing it from me, and Terry's favorite team is the 49ers. Dan, I don't know if you were watching that game, but it was 2nd and 11. Christian McCaffrey had just lost 1 yard. There was 4 minutes on a running clock, and instead of just continually running the ball with Christian McCaffrey, they threw a pass that was intercepted. At this point, I believe I am down 0.07. So all they would have to do was run Christian McCaffrey one more time and I win the game. Phillip Rivers completes a pass to Michael Pittman, which gets Terry a 2-point lead. And then on the next pass, Rivers throws a pick 6, which brings it down to the 0.5 lead when I got the extra point. And then that put San Francisco. Phillip Rivers came in, went 3 and out. They punted inexplicably, and then San Francisco killed the clock. So,
I mean, I think it was just destiny that you were supposed to lose that game. Terry was supposed to win it. Because here's the thing, that to have the 49ers kicker who you had hit the crossbar
on a 64-yarder.
It just wasn't meant to be. Terry was supposed to be in the championship.
But yeah, the craziest shit that happened in this game, by far, I'm just going to go up to Terry's running backs. Derrick Henry is King December. I'm never going to deny that. But what Ashton Jeanty did to Houston, supposedly the best defense in the NFL. I'm going to bring this up real quick. Did Ashton Jeanty score that many fantasy points one other time this season? He had a 30-point game against Chicago. Just a wild weekend, and that's where I'll agree with you. It was fate. Terry got me. I mean, I'm not going to sit here like I'm not trying to take anything away from Terry's win.
Maybe it wasn't fate because I think you not starting a top 10 fantasy quarterback against the second worst defense in football.
You know, Jacoby Brissett was a top 10 fantasy quarterback. He just didn't start playing until week 6. I mean, you laugh, but it's 1,000% true. Jacoby Brissett was the QB2 in fantasy after he took over as the starter.
I know what, you know.
I mean, it's hilarious. But, I mean, Justin Herbert didn't belong there. And for him to ball out the way he did against Dallas, whatever. I don't care anymore. So those were how those 2 games went. Bastard Terry. All right, let's get to week 17. Dan, I'm just going to do this with their game last. So it's going to go in the order that it appears on my screen with their game last. So third place is me versus Stevie. We're paying for $5 extra and the better first-round draft pick. I don't know that either one of us owns our own first-round draft pick. Who do you got here?
I'm going to take you. I think your team will have a big week. I think McBride could score 50 on his own this weekend playing against Cincinnati.
Yeah,
their linebackers and safeties can't cover or tackle. It's going to be a beautiful 60-degree day down in Cincinnati. I expect it to be a 48-45 game. I don't know who's going to win, but high scoring. I think McBride has a monster game.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing, that Jacoby Brissett and Trey McBride are going to make me look even dumber this week when they go off. I'm also picking myself. Darren did not get picks in last week and is not getting them in this week from what it appears, but maybe he will by tomorrow. He was pretty well out of the competition. Dan, you did close it to a 6-point gap by going 6-1 and getting both of the playoff matchups correct. Congratulations. You would need to pick opposite me this entire week, which you've already not done, and we're clearly not picking opposite on the championship. So I will take the contest down this year. Losers Bracket Championship. Taylor versus Greg. Greg is not starting a lineup. He has 2 IR running backs in his thing. This is pretty easily Taylor. This was for $25, and Greg still did not pay attention. So,
I mean, he didn't put golf in, so that's good.
Yeah.
He got -5 this week.
Is that what he got in our league?
-4.93.
Pathetic match. Yeah. So, I suppose, does he have running backs on his bench? He has Amari DiMercado. If he wanted to cut somebody and get a running back, he could throw a lineup in there, though, against Taylor's team, who's been pretty hot lately. Don't think it's going to matter. I'm taking Taylor here.
Taylor as well.
I figured. We got Phil versus Darren. Phil's team having a much better playoffs, mainly because he has Trevor Lawrence. Unfortunately, Josh Jacobs doing absolutely nothing for him, which has kind of been the trend for the last 3 weeks. When I looked this one over, though, I still went with Phil.
Yeah, going Phil as well.
The winner of this game does get a point of luck because it will be their second win in the losers bracket. So just throwing that out there. Wait, no. Yeah, I'm right about that because Taylor and Greg are the only 2 currently with 2 points with 2 wins in the losers bracket. You versus Eric in the exact same situation, Dan. Whoever wins this game gets a point of luck. I am again taking you. Mainly on the back of I think that Cincinnati game is going to be fantastic tomorrow. So
same, I agree.
Horvath versus JR, and this is the opposite. The loser of this game loses a point of luck. Pretty easy to pick against JR.
Yeah, JR is clearly not trying. I tagged him in the chat to start a lineup on Christmas, but no luck. So I'll lose that wonderful point.
And now the game that actually matters. And Dan, I figured we could take a little time on this one, break it down piece by piece, though. The more Derrick Henry plays, the less any of this matters. Terry currently up 28-22. But because of the fact that Terry got this from one guy and Rob got it from multiple, Sleeper is now projecting this as a 41-point beatdown in favor of Terry. We will still take it seriously, though clearly Rob's team did not. You got Josh Allen at home against Philadelphia, Drake May on the road against the New York Jets. What do you like here, Dan?
You talking overall or just that first matchup?
No, we'll go position by position, and then you'll pick your winner at the end.
I think Drake May has a better game there.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed for Drake May this week that Travion Henderson got cleared to play. I really thought the Patriots might rest him because they don't need him to be the Jets, but then I also thought that could have led to a big Drake May game. Now going into this with two healthy running backs, I could see them running this entire game, but I'm still going to give a slight edge to Drake May because Josh Allen is dealing with a good defense, possibly dealing with weather and dealing with an ankle injury.
I think that I've watched enough of the Patriots games that they still like to throw the ball enough in the red zone there.
Yeah.
That May could have a big game against an awful Jets team.
Nate says on during a game, crazy. We get these shows in when we can get these shows in. Dan, RB1 in this matchup. I guess it makes sense.
This game's on Peacock. I'm not even watching it.
Yeah. I guess we can call these two because they are the ones who haven't played yet. Ashton Genty coming off of an excellent game at home against the New York Giants. Bijan Robinson at home Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Rams. When I look at this matchup, I just can't see Genty repeating. I'm giving Bijan a slight edge here, but it's an ever so slight edge, and probably the last time I will talk positively about Rob's team.
So here's what I'm going to say. Before any of these games happened, looking at these matchups, knowing the Raiders are trying to lose, they don't want to win this game.
Yep.
How much is Genty going to see the ball? Both teams are trying to lose. This is going to be a 6-3 game on someone winning on accident.
I don't think I talked about this. I did a show this morning for a start set for championship week. I actually don't think the Giants are going to try to lose. I think the Giants are going to go the other route with this, and they're going to come out and beat the fucking doors off of the Raiders. Just my thought.
Even though they just benched their starting left tackle?
Yeah. You're still running your rookie quarterback out there. You're still running your wide receivers. Tyrone Tracy is still playing for a reason. I'm not worried about that.
Okay. Well, either way, the Raiders are openly trying to lose.
Yeah, I mean they moved Max Crosby to IR, but I had heard initially that was a benching. So
that's what they originally said, but I think the NFL probably you can't just bench your players.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's a bad look. So I think Bijan has a much better game than Genty.
But as we move to the second running back spot, it doesn't even matter. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, before like I said, before the game started, Williams going against Washington. Now, if he wouldn't have got hurt, maybe he does have a huge game. I expected him to have a big game.
Yep. I agree. I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's become clear Terry's the champion. Rob was my champion even before today's game started, Dan. Today's game's buried Rob with what we're going to talk about when we get to wide receiver and what we're going to talk about right now. Derrick Henry in the third quarter has 106 yards and 3 touchdowns, 28 fantasy points. Javonte Williams goes down in that game, only ends up with 9 fantasy points. Obviously, this puts Terry ahead, and with what we're about to talk about next, Dan, it pretty much makes it an insurmountable comeback. You've kind of already touched on Javonte Williams. You want to touch on anything else on this position?
No, we're good. I have Henry going in another championship, so hopefully this continues.
Congratulations. I have him in. So I do a weird championship in one of my leagues where, so I'm in a league, a 12-team league. I unfortunately lost the championship of that league, but it is one of 4 leagues. It's a Hogwarts themed league where the two people who made the championship for each house are all in a best ball tournament, or not a best ball, but a high score tournament for 2 weeks. So what I was trying to get at here is I also have Derrick Henry going in a championship that would win me like a big, like 48 person tournament, which is pretty cool. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I have Derrick Henry going just a regular league and just won't win.
Yeah, I have a regular league with Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor in a standard league, non-PPR. So I'll be interested to see. Hopefully they both play. I think McCaffrey's going to. I'm a little worried about Jonathan Taylor playing the entire game. Michael Wilson versus Nico Collins. And Dan, this was originally where I was going to tell you Rob was coming back. That was before the game actually happened. And Nico Collins goes 3 for 57, getting Rob 5.8 fantasy points. I don't even love Michael Wilson this week because Marvin Harrison seems to be like actually back. He's going to score more than 5.8 fantasy points, and this was the nail in the coffin for Rob Motz.
So if Harrison doesn't play, I think that actually hurts Wilson more because the Bengals have one corner that can actually cover.
Yeah, you guys have been really good against fantasy wide receivers over the last month.
They have one corner who can actually cover. And if you take Harrison out of that, Wilson's he's gonna shadow Wilson all day.
Yeah, I think Harrison's playing though. So
did he even play last week?
Yeah. He was a decoy last week. He had quotes this week that he's feeling way better. So
that was a joke because last week I actually called you.
Duh. Okay, I get what you're saying now. Yes.
Game, and you gave me the advice to start Harrison over DJ Moore.
I mean, DJ Moore sucked too. So
he scored 20-some points because that overtime touchdown.
Yeah, until the last play of the game.
Yep, that saved him.
Yeah, that happens.
Yep.
And then
that's all that matters.
And then you get to Waddle versus Juwan Jennings. I kind of see this as a wash. Waddle dealing with poor quarterback play, but gets a very bad Tampa Bay defense. Juwan Jennings is the wide receiver one. I personally, Dan, don't think George Kittle is going to play, which is going to come up on the next position. And all that does is benefit Juwan Jennings the better. So,
well, I think Jennings actually crushes Waddle here. Yours for Miami looked terrible last week.
I mean, Jalen Waddle still looked okay. 9 fantasy points, 5 catches for 72 yards. He finds the end zone. It's not bad. I'm not saying Miami didn't look terrible. Quinn Ewers looks awful. He just seemed to be leaning on Jalen Waddle, which is what you should be doing as a young quarterback. So,
I just think Jennings blows him out.
And then we get to tight end. My notes said Terry needs to go sign to tight end immediately, and I didn't mean Taysom fucking Hill. It doesn't actually matter. Now, if I'm Terry, I'm just going to go get Jake Tongas and just wait and see what happens tomorrow night because you're not going to know in time to play Taysom Hill. It doesn't matter at this point, but this had the potential to swing this matchup if Terry didn't do that because Hunter Henry could potentially go off tomorrow. I don't think he's going to go off enough to fix this gap. It's nice that Rob has this stack here. I still just don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Kittle's playing either. So,
and like I said, I just don't buy into this Taysom Hill thing. A lot of people have been wanting to start Taysom Hill this week, and my thing was that last week was potentially likely his last game in New Orleans. I think they featured him because of that. I don't know how much he's going to be featured in Tennessee this week.
I agree, and I think he has those big games every once in a while. It's nothing really consistent anymore.
Yeah. When we look at the flex position, these are 2 wide receivers that we did not expect to see in a flex position by championship week. Rob has Michael Pittman, who at one point was a top 10 wide receiver on the season. Things have certainly gone the wrong way. Terry has Michael Pittman. Rob has Brian Thomas Jr., who we thought was going to be great. His offense is great. Brian Thomas Jr. can't seem to find a way to be great. This could be, again, a big week for Brian Thomas. I love Trevor Lawrence this week. But again, when you look at the duds Rob's gotten, unless Thomas, Henry, and Drake May go off, I don't think it's going to be enough. So.
I think Thomas is the right start because
I agree wholeheartedly.
He's the biggest home run swing Rob has right now.
Oh yeah. And then Terry for Michael Pittman, it's a nice safe week. They should be throwing a ton. It sounds like they're playing Phillip Rivers the entire game. So
yeah, we'll see. I'm so down on Pittman.
Yeah, it's took a rough turn. I think 5 points last week, but Michael Pittman won that game for Terry last week. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Michael Pittman won that game for him. And then, Dan, when you look at defense, special teams, IDP, I didn't have any notes here. Obviously, I kind of wrote the show sheet up before Rob's team went out and had just a way too mediocre game. This is the type of position defense in our league where you can sneak in a really good game. He didn't get it. He needed it. Kickers look even to me. Jordan Brooks a few weeks ago was one of the best IDPs. I just don't know how much I'm going to trust him this week on a terrible Miami team. Not that I trust Savasier Dennis any better. Looking this over, Dan, there's nothing here that swings me one way or the other. I don't love the Atlanta matchup for the Rams. I think they'll probably still score more than 7 fantasy points.
I think that there's a messed up stat there.
What's that?
For Rob's defense. Was there not sacks in that game? Yeah. Did the Chargers defense not get a single sack? I thought I saw them get a sack. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
As of now, not registered. Could happen on a stat correction, which should have happened last week, Terry. But yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't watch the game.
I just looked at the stats from the game, and it didn't have any sacks for them. I could have swore I saw some, but maybe I'm just not paying full enough attention.
And then, Dan, when we look at the bench, you mentioned that Brian Thomas Jr. is the right start. Rob's only other option would be to go Tyler Algier, the double running backs that got him here. The rest of his bench kind of disappointed. Terry picked up Justin Herbert for some just in case shit. He was pretty average this week, like I thought he would have been last week. Obviously, Terry has the tight end situation going on right now. Does Terry have an extra bench player?
He kept Ferguson after he played.
Oh, I'm like, what the hell is happening here? But okay, now I see what's happening. Dan, clearly you're not fitting Adonai Mitchell in your lineup, so there's no reason for any lineup changes here whatsoever. So as we get to the end of it, I can't imagine you're going wild here. Derrick Henry had a quiet quarter. Now Terry is only projected to win by 39. I am picking Terry to be my champion.
I'm picking Terry as well, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think that
you think enough of Rob's guys will find something this week, or Terry's guys will take a shit?
I'm not confident the rest of Terry's team is going to just go off.
Yeah.
I could see Rob having the guys set up to go off. I think, again, if Kittle's not there, I think Jennings could go off. Henry and May could have big games against that Jets team.
You bring up a really interesting point that Ashton Genty could sit. And that could change a lot about this game. If Ashton Genty has a normal Ashton Genty game, and at halftime he's sitting at 10 carries for 29 yards and a bum ankle, I'm not saying just like a sprained ankle, and they sit him at halftime, that changes a lot about the dynamic. Then you start to bring up the people who on Rob's team who we said could have a big game: Hunter Henry, Brian Thomas Jr. If those 3 things happen, Dan, you could see an interesting swing here. You're absolutely
right. Terry's defense going against Atlanta, I found that's an interesting play. There's not a ton of options out there. A lot of teams have stacked up defenses, but
yeah, the Rams defense is so talented. I'm not overly concerned. I mean, Kirk Cousins could turn into a pumpkin easily. Primetime Kirk Cousins, now he had a good primetime game this season, but primetime Kirk Cousins typically does turn into a pumpkin. So I'm not overly worried, and there's big rumors Drake London ends up coming back out and missing this game. So,
oh, really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I saw that he was definitely playing for sure.
That is not what I read this morning. Let's see if the sleeper notes are different from the Fantasy Pros notes. Carries some risk, but is a low-end wide receiver 1. So it did say he was limited in practice all week and enters the game with a questionable tag. So that could be where people are getting worried. It's just he's already listed as questionable. So what's going to happen? But no, I think it's interesting. I think you're right. It may not be a blowout, but it's hard to pick against Terry knowing what we know with this information at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Terry gets the win, but I think it's gonna be closer than what the way it looks right now.
Yeah, no surprise, Dan. We agree on every pick this week. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, I could sit here and just go against you, or I can just end up being worse than Darren at that point.
Yeah, don't want to do that. So just quick reminders: Taylor versus Greg is a $25 and a point of luck. And then me versus Stevie is $5 and the better draft pick. Those are really the other, a few other people are playing for luck this week. Dan, I fucking smashed you in the game last week. You essentially cursed me and Terry by picking Josh Allen and Trey McBride. You scored 9 fantasy points. Meanwhile, I went with my Cincinnati stack and was completely right and got 51 fantasy points. Dan, that puts us at 5-5. I will offer you one more time, Dan. Do you want to go first?
Nope.
Now that you are in danger. You said no?
Nope. Go right ahead.
All right. As I've mentioned, I'm in love with a particular quarterback this week. He needs a win. He's in a dome, playing against a division rival. Give me Trevor Lawrence, the hottest quarterback in football, against a defense that just gave up 5 touchdown passes to Brock Purdy. I think he eats. And Dan, I happen to agree with you that Trey McBride is going to have the bounce back of all bounce backs against the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going with Trevor Lawrence and Trey McBride.
All right. I was going to take Trey again this week. So I'm going to go that same game. I'll go Burrow and Chase stack.
Oh, the one that got me here. I think that's a great idea. I think it's fun. Trevor Lawrence and Burrow. Trey McBride and Jamar Chase. You want to talk about your Bengals and why they're going to be hot this week before we get out of here?
I think that Burrow just need to get refocused. Like I said, it's perfect weather conditions. You're not going to ask for a better game. I think the Bengals are going to have to score in order to win the game. Jamar Chase has been quiet for a little while.
Yeah,
and I think the Cardinals could be the team that he opens up against. I think T. Higgins eating last week. People have to respect him being over there a little bit more, which should open it up for Jamar Chase.
I think there's also a really good chance this is your core's last game of the season. It's a home game. They just ate last week on the road. I feel like they want to give something to the home fans and then take next week off. So
we'll see.
I don't know what their contract incentives are. I know some of that could come into play. I doubt Burrow's hitting any incentives, but the other guys might be. So
I don't think they have any incentives. Burrow, they keep asking Burrow why he keeps playing at this point. There's nothing to play for, and he's like, I just love playing football.
Yep. That's the only reason he should.
I think he'll play the rest of the year regardless.
I'm
fine. Listen, I'm fine with them losing some games and getting a better draft pick. I have no problem with it.
I do want to throw something out. It did not affect our league as much as other leagues I've seen. This week, with the will they play, won't they play, the Brock Bowers surprise IR and all that kind of shit that's going on.
Add him to that list, yeah.
Has people asking the question of should leagues go back to a 13-game schedule? And the reason I said no to that is I don't want a bye week during the fantasy playoffs. But one thing you brought up a few weeks ago, Dan, was what happens when the NFL adds another game and JR or someone breaks my record if I quote unquote broke JR's record, yada, yada, yada. I say all of that to say is when the NFL adds another game, if the bye weeks don't change, I don't know that I'm going to be inclined to add another game to our schedule because this week has been a nightmare.
Oh, I agree that if the bye weeks don't change, we keep our league exactly the same.
Yeah. Then we don't have to deal with
weird. That will change if you add another game is teams are going to be in contention longer, so you'll see less of it until that end of the season stuff, like the last 2 weeks, like we're seeing now. But
so just get your expectations right, league. If the NFL goes to 18 games, which is very possible in the next 3 to 5 years, we are sticking at a 14-game regular season schedule. Dan, that wraps up the final show of 2025. I'm sure we'll do some show for the draft lottery and all that later in the season, but this brings it to an end. Final parting words for our friends.
Love you guys. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. And Ryan, I'm so happy you lost. I'm glad you.
My favorite thing was when I said some foul shit to Terry in the text message we were doing, and you just wrote, Terry, I have never loved you more than I love you right now, or something like that.
I gotta be honest. I've had so many texts, started typing gifts, whatever they are. I wanted to send to you, and I was like, no.
I was gonna say, and then I was gonna start talking about how some of your kids have never even seen you in the fantasy playoffs, and then it would have just got real ugly. So.
Actually, no. All of my kids have been alive the last time I made the playoffs. So
Okay. The one I was actually going to send was, I think Brian was in the league the last time you made the playoffs. I don't know if that's true or not.
that is true. That is true because I lost him in the championship.
Oh, there you go. I have no negative words at all. Congratulations to Rob. Congratulations to Terry. It was the championship I was rooting for. If I wasn't a part of it, I'm butthurt as hell. But Terry will be 1-0 in the championship, it looks like, and I'm happy for him. So that's where we'll end it. What a season. I hope you all had fun. Greg, what the fuck, man? I know you don't watch these shows. We're probably kicking you out of the league. I hope you don't find that out in the last 30 seconds of a show that you've never watched before, but it's got to happen, man. You haven't set a lineup like more than half the season at this point. Get your shit together. That wraps us up. See you guys in 2026.